What is today? Wednesday.
Bob, it's Judy,
Yes.
and I just wanted to say thank you for all your little oops and yes and all those things over the years, because I have used them many, many times, and all your quotes and stuff. So
Oh gosh,
thank
I'm
you.
glad they're working out for you.
They
Thank
are.
you. I'm quite surprised, that we
And
even
I'm
put these
always
things together.
I'm always attributing them to you. So
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I do that
I'm
a
glad
lot,
they're
too.
helpful. I mean, I wanted them to be helpful. And everybody takes whatever they want to take, I like to keep
Yeah,
stressing. I'm just one way. I want to see everybody do it their way too. But anyway, so
Yeah.
Kate's pretty good at marketing that, and she did the marketing book too, which was really, really good. So the Loosen Up one, it still holds up to all these months or years.
And now it's electronic.
Now it's electronic. Did you know that? It's an ebook, which is so cool because it has visuals and motion and me painting and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, actually.
That is cool.
The
I've
color
got the
wheel starts
paperback,
spinning
yeah.
and things like that. Yeah, it's a lot of action going on in that ebook. We're very proud of it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It makes me feel so hip. I don't know anything
I
about
was just
it.
going to say, so current, so avant-garde.
Yeah, well, and that's the other, you're right, Elaine. The thing that's nice that we can always upgrade it a lot easier than having to reprint something, so it's constantly, and you're right, it's constantly being upgraded.
Well, it's the new age. You kind of have
Well,
to get there.
I think, as long as we don't go kicking and screaming. I know I went kicking and screaming to this whole thing, a year ago and
Yeah,
January, and finally after I
you've got
went through all
Kate,
the
you've
motions
got
that
Kate.
everybody else went through, I finally said, okay, get my act together here. I have a whole year. I'm not going anywhere. So I start planning. Quite frankly, I start planning like, well, let's pretend I'm going to have a show in a year from now. So I have the work that I have on the wall are for very specific bodies of work. I'm doing about 4 different series, me in the series. So I'm doing some large canvases of powerful women, because this is the year of the
Ooh,
women.
I like
So
that.
why not?
You better
So
have Ruth Bader Ginsburg on there.
Well, you won't recognize them, but they're powerful women. And you're going to know that they're my paintings. So, all right. And so did you see the little acrylic painting I did of our new poet laureate that went on the
No,
Facebook?
oh my gosh, no. Oh,
Because
how
I
lovely.
mean, just look at her.
Where is
She
it?
just.
Is it?
Is it on your website?
Yes.
No, it's not on the website. He posted it on his Facebook page. That's where it is right now. He's looking around.
I protected it.
He's
It's one of those,
walking
I'll put it in a
around.
safe spot. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. She
I
was
put it-
astonishing.
Yeah, here it comes. He'll put it on the overhead demo.
Oh,
Put it down there.
So let me just do it this way. There we go.
oh,
Here, I'll spotlight it.
it's
There, thanks, Kate.
wonderful.
oh,
But there's a little kind of a typical Bob Burridge has to have a little wink in his eye. Do you see a little thing I put in there?
I see it. I see it. I
It's
see
not
it.
a dog.
It's not a dog.
Not a dog.
No,
the thing
it's a
that I
spray
thought was
bottle.
so amazing was that FBI guy coming out in between each speaker and
Oh, and
Cloroxing
cleaning up the podium.
Yeah, after everybody.
It's a spray bottle. I can tell right away.
That's right. There you go.
Oh my God.
I mean,
that's
it tells the
wonderful.
story. Doesn't it? No, anyway, it's
Yes.
fun.
Okay.
It's fun. Thanks.
Wonderful.
But look
Yeah,
at
that
the
was-
colors. It's all primaries. I mean, I had to
Yeah.
paint it. Red,
Oh,
yellow,
it's
blue.
wonderful.
It's unbelievable.
She was so bright. Yep.
Oh, I mean, that was the right, well, hopeful for me anyway. It's nice
Yes.
to hear people complete a sentence
Yeah.
now on the news, all right? And a complete thought.
And what a great story she told. And
Oh,
so
well, she's
young.
evidently a genius for a long time, and she's
Oh.
done many other things that were, when you real, yeah. I think 60 Minutes did a thing on her.
It's so nice to see everybody. Look at this lovely room.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Now, if you could all turn your cameras on if you wish, that would be helpful. And you know what? You can go ahead and unmute yourselves too. That would be
Sure.
very nice.
Is this like one of those Sunday afternoon things we used to do?
Yeah.
So we're all sitting around with wine, I hope, and
I
chatting
am.
and being with. Oh, I would never do that. I'm a
Oh,
teacher.
good for you, Bob. We feel better.
Almost cocktail hour here. Yeah.
What I'm showing off. I'm pretending it's Sunday afternoon.
It's not quite Sunday.
Yeah.
afternoon.
Well, it is cocktail hour.
It is cocktail hour. Yeah. I'm waiting for Elizabeth to get off the phone.
Yeah,
See, she does too much stuff.
she's too serious.
Well, thank goodness I have people like you in my class.
I know.
Mhm.
And we may be waiting for a couple more
Mhm.
people, so I won't try to jump the
All right.
gun here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problems.
No problem.
No problem.
I'm just anxious to get started painting. So sick
Can
to
I
see.
ask just a question of the group? Is anybody here also taking the workshops coming up? Just a little show of hands if you're coming into the workshops.
Thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There we go. Wow.
we've been doing the Zoom workshops. I think May was our first workshop that we just jumped. It might have even been April, just jumped into it. So we're getting really good at this.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bob's really good on the Zoom. And
I like it now.
yeah, so we're doing a 3-day loosen up and then a 4-day abstract painting and collage, both of them on the Zoom. I'm doing a couple of art marketing sessions, and then of course today's demo. So I'm Kate, I'm Bob's wife, and
Yes.
I'm the one that sends off a lot of the emails and things. And so,
You all need a Kate.
well, yeah, anyway, I will be sending your, excuse me, your Zoom invitations to get into the workshops. And I'll kind of
Okay.
keep you abreast of what's going on and what's happening and all of that stuff. So I will be in touch with some of you if you're moving on to workshop land in this time too. So,
Burridge.
I
I'm looking
don't
at
know
everybody's
if-
names.
I don't know if Elizabeth wants me to go ahead and intro.
Hi, Rose.
and get rolling or not.
Marianne.
Oh, hi.
Elaine, do you know?
I'm happy to be anywhere. So,
That's right.
I know, this is great. Well, okay, since it is.
That's the time.
It's time. So, okay, so I will do this since I will be your Zoom person when Bob
Okay.
is doing the workshop. So I will take this part now too. And if Elizabeth wants to jump in, she can. If she wants to say something at halftime, she can do that. But we have a great demo planned for you today. There's a couple of things going on with Bob. Right now, I'm gonna spotlight Bob drinking water. You can see Bob. There's Bob.
Oh,
at the
boy.
wall. So Bob has 2 views. We have 2 fixed cameras on Bob, the same as what we'll have in the workshop. So you can
Okay.
see the back wall. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is show you the other portion of it. This is the overhead demo.
Mhm.
So you'll be able to see exactly what he's working on overhead at any time during the presentation. So whether it's a demo or a workshop, you're gonna see him working on the overhead demo. I'm gonna put it back on Bob right now. So this is what I'll be doing for you today and also during the workshop. Elizabeth might be doing it too, whoever wants to jump in, that's just great.
I need a lot of help.
Today, the demo.
Okay. Hey, Bob.
Today the demo is all about color.
Yeah.
So Bob's gonna talk to you first about color wheels and the reason why behind color wheels. He'll use the standard classic color wheel. He'll throw in a little bit of his color wheel. And then he's gonna show you something that we find that people are really interested in. And he'll touch upon this with you for like 1/3 of this workshop. And it's about neutrals.
Oh,
You'll be
neutrals.
able to see how he does neutrals. And on the wall behind him, you can see there are brights, there are neutrals, there's a mixture. So it's not alchemy, it's not magic, it is something you can do.
it's magical.
It's magic. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to Bob. Now, the way we're gonna work this If you have a
Oh,
question,
yeah.
you can ask questions at any time. We want this to be easygoing though. So
Okay.
you can say, hey, Bob, I have a question. Or you can put it in the chat. If
Yeah.
you put it in the chat, then I'll say, hey, Bob, there's a question.
And Kate,
Yeah, so
it'll
we
get
can
over to
make
me.
this work either way. Now, I will ask you to please police yourselves if there are barking dogs, crying babies, irate husbands, or cars or airplanes. You know when you should mute yourselves. All right, don't make me have to come and mute you. All right, so Bob, take it away. It
Oh,
is
gosh.
a demonstration all about color.
And thanks, Kate. And yeah, I'm going to stay focused. And that's one of the nice things about having Kate here in the studio. She's going to make sure I stay focused. But please, 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 please ask any question. I mean, anything we're talking about. And either raise your hand or so I know who's saying it, asking the question. I want us to be as close as possible. And, you know, it's not in the real live classroom, but that's kind of the thing we do in the live classroom anyway, right? So my job here is to paint a lot and show you what works for me. That's what all I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to show you how it works for me. And I'm only one way. You've heard this 1,000 times. I'm only one way. And, you know, and by the way, I'm fortunate to be able to paint for many, many years. Oh my gosh, I think maybe close to 30 years every day. And if you paint or do something every day over, you get more confidence and you're more experimental and you try different things and there you are. So I'm not bragging. It's just that I'm so fortunate to still be healthy enough to have Kate who still wants to do this and help me show you all. So I love this Zoom. I didn't think I was going to, but I do. And so evidently, way to go, everybody. I congratulate you all for coming up, showing up in the Zoom, because I know you had to call the grandkids. How do we do this whole thing? Well, here you're here. Color. We do like, I mean, many of you will say the reason I became a painter is because I like color. That's kind of a standard, kind of a beginning, really. But in fact, it is true. So what I'm about to show you is stuff you've already known. You know it, you've learned it, then you forgot about it. So I want to get you back on track and show you that really does work. So I don't want to make this a big lecture thing. I want to do more painting. So so again, I know you know most of this stuff. Let me show you how it works for me. And it's a nice reminder for some of us don't know about the color wheel. Alrighty. So it's very cool. I'm going to do this one rather quickly. Basically, someone has designed the perfect color wheel, 12 colors. And if you use very specific color combinations, it increases the chance of that becoming a pretty darn nice painting. I'm not going to get into any of the other stuff. But if you use certain formulas on that color wheel, it increases your chance of it being a good painting aesthetically. All right. All right. So I didn't make that up, but that's kind of what we're about to do. I'm going to show you the combinations. So, okay, if you want to go to the overhead.
Yeah.
Great. I'll show you that.
There we go.
There you are. All right, everybody. This is the standard. This is the standard color wheel. You all have one of these. I know you do. Somewhere hiding in your studio, in the file somewhere, it's tucked in between some books. This is the big one. This is my teaching one. So I'm going to show you the different color combinations that will help you in your painting. All right. And again, I know we don't like to follow rules. Guess what, folks? This is the only one rule I do follow is the color wheel. And after that, once I have my colors ready to go, I go bonkers. All right. So I do have at least that much discipline in my studio. All right. How are we doing, everybody? I'm going to show you all the materials in a minute. Okay. Well, first of all, let me just show you the materials. Big brushes. Big brushes. I only bring out this little brush to show you that even those tiny little brushes, I mean, if I had to hold on to that brush, my hand would crimp up. So I fatten up on my handles. That's really what I'm showing you right there. So it's a lot easier to hold them all day long. right? And I just, lots of tape, aluminum foil, more tape, and see, and it also encourages me to hold the brush where it's intended to be held, in the back. Too many of you hold your brush up in here like you're painting little baby bird eyeballs. You can't paint this way. So again, there's a reason there's a long handle on most brushes. All right. So I'll just say about that. My paints are Holbein acrylic paints. I like them because they're 100% pure pigment. Boy, do I like that part. So which means I can water them down and they still are very strong pigments. And we all know the good paints. There's Holbein, Golden's good, Sennelier, Daniel Smith. You guys all know the good ones. And they cost a little bit more because they have the best pigments, and that's what you want. So enough of that. I'm not going to give you a long lecture. My white I do use a lot of titanium white. This is a big bucket of white here. This is actually gesso. This is my Utrecht gesso, and I like the Utrecht gesso as my white because, again, for the same reason, it happens to have a whole lot of pigment in it. So I don't use cheap gesso. All right. It's now purchased through Dick Blick, right? So go online. That's I do have here. These are my buckets. I have 2 buckets of water. Stay right there. These are, and they're about 4 inches deep. These are my, and I notice they're nice and wide, so I can just kind of go back and forth and back and forth. And that's not a really high bucket, so the height is only about 3 or 4 inches. So it's a lot easier for me to, and I don't have to so aim my brushes to look for it. That's why you don't want to have like a coffee cup of water or some little whatever. What I like about these is that, first of all, they're easy to get my brush over there too, and it won't fall over. Enough of that. These are the simple things I learned in the studio. So now I also paint flat. I paint flat on tables because I paint so wet, and I don't my paints to be dripping down if I was painting on an easel. Easels are wonderful, but I don't paint that way. All right. All right. I don't have fancy furniture. I have nothing in my studio except 8 big tables, big plastic tables that you see at the workshops. And that's all I have in here. I don't have comfortable furniture. I don't have little still lives. I don't have a collection of baby doll heads and dried flower arrangements and stuff like that. It's a working studio.
Are you going to mention the plastic on the table?
Oh yeah, I'm about to do that right now. And on my, thanks, Kate. And on my tables, I have stretched some plastic sheeting, white. Not a shower curtain, not a picnic table, plastic. This is 4 mil thick plastic. And you get it at the hardware store. All right, 4 mil. Make sure it's 4 mil. And the reason why is because I do my mixing right on the plastic, right on here. This is where I do my mixing, not on the painting. Over here. And in about 3 or 4 days, I can peel it all off. So I have all these skins of acrylic paint, and the plastic's clear again. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, I've found I'm a lot looser when I can do my mixing on a table as opposed to those cute little ice cube trays you guys put your paints in. These. That tightens me up like crazy. Okay, so that's all. Oh, and of course, paper towels. I love my paper towels. I do a lot of painting with paper towels. The paper I am going to be doing a lot of demos on will be watercolor paper. And it will either be Cheap Joe's Kilimanjaro paper. And when I order my paper from Cheap Joe's, and make sure it's 300-pound watercolor paper. It will stay flatter because I do tend to beat up my paper. I don't treat it very nicely. And so you want the 300-pound Cheap Joe's, and I get cold press. Cold press meaning it has a slight little texture. Hot press, your choice. Hot press, it's a lot smoother. All right, and it's your choice. They're both great. All right. The price is right. That basically is really what I wanted to get across to you. Now, I know a lot of you have arches. It's in every art store, kind of art stores, and it's convenient. I don't care for it that much, only because it's a little bit too stiff. It's just stiff. All right. And matter of fact, I'll get out here. This here is Kilimanjaro. Let me see if I can get it over here. And watch what I can do to it.
Yeah.
Look at this. If that was arches, it would snap, crackle, and pop. And meanwhile, it stays flat. No, wonderful. This is a 300-pound Kilimanjaro. All right. Good stuff. All right. You can use anything you want. All right. I'm just showing you, saving you some time. Say, Bob, what do you use? This is what I use. And right. One more thing, and a lot of this is working on Strathmore's. There's pads. When I order my Cheap Joe's Kilimanjaro paper, I also order a couple of these pads. They take a beating. Oh, they're fantastic. It's a paper Bristol. It's beautiful and perfect. Gosh, great. It's done 9 by 11, right? These are no 9 by 12s. It's perfect. It's perfect, ready to go. And it takes a beating, especially what I'm about to show you some of my painting examples. All right. So you'll see me doing a lot of that. All righty. I think that's pretty much it. For anybody have a question before I get into actually talking about color? I'll talk too much about my materials. No? Okay.
I don't see any.
Okay, so I'll ask one. I have a question.
Everyone is so quiet.
Oh, a question. I hear somebody with a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Here.
When you get the Kilimanjaro, in your work, do you use primarily hot or cold?
Mostly it'll be, I like that texture, so it will be cold press.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
Yeah, I
thank
like
you.
It's actually easier to paint on cold press. The hot press, the paints tend to really slide
Kind of
around a little
move,
bit.
yeah.
If you like that technique, great. I'm a little more aggressive, so I guess I like that
Yes.
texture. And I
I
do
like
like
the
texture.
cold press too.
All right, thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
Thank you for the answer.
All right, so here, another question? No? Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. Now you all know, you know this color wheel, but it's nice to be reminded. And there's some of us who don't know this color wheel, all right? So this is the standard color wheel. It's in all your painting books, the ones you don't read anymore. Anyway, there it is. So and the color wheel is divided into the warm side, and then you have the cool side. All right, and now you can forget about all that. Theoretically, it's supposed to be made up of these three colors: yellow, red, and blue. Theoretically, but not in reality. But that's where all this comes from. You don't have to remember any of the stuff I'm talking about. All right, but you should have one up on the wall. It will remind you to stay focused. Then you won't make mud. So here are your choices. Look, they even have this handy dandy, cute little spinning. So the first choice you have, monochromatic. Monochromatic, which means, I'll just spin it over here. There you go. It means a whole painting done with just that one color, plus black and white. Oh, here's one over here. Kate, you want to come back to the wall, maybe? Is that possible?
I will.
Thanks.
Okay, you're there.
So like this is a monochromatic painting,
There's also one behind you.
black and white. This one here?
No, down below on the table.
Oh, on the table. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the one I wanted to show you. This one. So this is about the name of the painting. It's called The Flower Shop Girl. But I just want you to see, because I'm using so many different values. You can do some. I just realized it looks like my shirt. Anyway, I'm easily distracted. I'm sorry, I'm easily distracted. So black and white, and this was kind of an army khaki color that I started mixing in with it, and I could get this whole thing going. I just want you to know, because it's even with one color, you can do some pretty powerful paintings. And because I have a lot of contrast in that one. Thanks, Kate, for reminding me of that one.
Yeah. Back on the overhead.
Sure, the overhead. Great. So, and again, in fact, this is one of the things I like to do. in my studio when since we don't have a lot of pressure, is every day of the week, try a different monochromatic painting as an exercise for you. It's really going to lighten you up and the brush work. And it's going to get you more used to working with just a color without thinking about all the other different colors. And you'll see that your work is beautiful. All right, so the next choice you have, this is a fun one. It's called analogous. Analogous. Excuse me. Thanks. An analogous means it's up to 4 colors that touch each other on the color wheel. And that's all you use. That's all you use. So in this case, I would put out orange on the table, this yellow orange on the table, this yellow on the table, this Kelly green on the table, and that's it. And I'll do the whole painting based on that, plus black and white. And again, see, you can just anywhere you want to go. This would be a fun one. Look at these 3 different kinds of greens, and there's your blue. That'd be a fun one. See, and that's called analogous. The other one, which is a fun one, and it's called complementary, which means any 2 colors across from each other, on the color wheel. So in this case, it would be violet and yellow. It could be different kinds of yellows, by the way. You don't have to match that. As a matter of fact, I put out 2 or 3 or 4 different kinds of yellows, pale yellow, cadmium yellows, that kind of thing. I like choices, don't you? And I'll put out different kinds of violets, purples, amethyst, things like all that kind of stuff. And I'll make my own purples. All right, and I'll do the whole painting with just complementary colors. And the next choice you have, and I'll stop at this one, it's it's called triadic. Triadic. It's every 4th color on the color wheel, and you can start anywhere. So in this case, let's just say, okay, I'll just start here. Purple. Purple, there you go. Put some purple on the table, count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Orange, put that on the table. 1, 2, 3. Green, put that on the table. 1, 2, 3, and I'm back at the beginning again. You can start anywhere. Oh boy, here's our friend, blue primaries. 1, 2, 3, red. 1, 2, 3, yellow. 1, 2. So there are many other, excuse me.
Water.
I have more water, jeez.
Have more water.
Thank you. Means I had to paint more and talk less. All right, so there are many more color combinations that are actually very exciting if you're kind of into this whole thing, and the split complementaries and things like that. So it's very exciting, and I've been studying color my whole life because that's what I am. I love color, and I know you do too. But I know this is information that we all know, but it's nice to be reminded. So if you do have you can find your color wheel, get it back up on the wall. Some of you I think, oh, I shouldn't, it's like cheating. You're not cheating. The color wheel is one of your tools, just like the brush. It's one of your tools. Get it up on the wall and use it. It's just one less thing you have to be concerned about when you're in the studio painting all day long. All right, everybody. So there are other different kinds of color wheels. People have different philosophies. They all work, by the way. And then there's this one. So some of you, thank you very much, have bought one of these, or this also can get online. And thank you very much. It's a fun one. The one online, electronic one, the wheel spins and then my paintings show up, and it's pretty cool. Where you touch one of my paintings and the 4 colors show up. It's a pretty cool. I know, it's so cool. It's what, $9 or something like that to get it. Anyway, so here are my colors. What I'm about to tell you, it makes absolutely no sense when you compare it. When you compare it with this, I don't even use the same words. So this one I call my goof-proof color wheel, and I only use 10 colors. All right. So it's there's a red and orange, kind of a marigold, bright yellow, kind of a Kelly green, a darker green, and then we go to light blue, kind of like a compost blue, ultramarine blue, darker. There's your purple, and my hot pink. Yay! My opera, my fluorescent hot pink. Absolutely ridiculous, right? Oh boy, do I have a good. So how this happened, and I'll do it quickly. I came down to the studio, and this was sitting on my table like that, just like that. And it was a slow day in the office, and I decided to start rearranging it so it would look something like a color wheel. And I got all excited. And I said, well, you know, look at those colors. Obviously, these are the tubes of paints I was using the day before. They were still on the table. And I really like this. And I also was doing one more thing in my studio at that day. I wanted to eliminate some of these these colors in a painting. Okay, and I wanted to use 4 colors. So what I came up with was this. With 10 colors, how can I come up with just 4? So I came up with this little diamond pointer. All right. And I was going to another level. I mean, I want to have, I'm going to have a percentage of the color strong and some colors less strong. So my dominant color is going to be red. And those of you who are the mathematicians, we're talking about 80% of the footprint of the canvas or paper will be reddish. Ish is a big one, ish. So in fact, I refer to my paintings as the red painting or the green painting or the blue painting. That's the first thing I do. Remember, you're not gonna find this in any art books. I just made this up. It was a slow day in my office. Now the color across from that on my color wheel happens to not be the green, as we all know, right? It happens to be this bluish greenish color, which is kind of like, let's see if I can get that color over there. It's kind of a compost blue, beautiful color. And I call that my focal point color. This is the number 2. I call it my focal point color.
Okay.
Okay, and so can you imagine a big red painting, mostly all red, and all of a sudden I put that blue dot in? Guess where your eye's going to go? Bingo, right? So I did some blue flowers or something like that. Bingo, your eye's going to go right there. So I call it the focal point color, and it's only in one spot. You don't have it all over the place like a Jackson Pollock painting. All right, love that man,
And
by
it's
the way.
about 10%.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks, Kate. And that's 10% keeping me on track. So that footprint is about 10% of that color. Now the other 2 colors, notice I have them on my pointer here, closer to this. So number 3 and number 4, the 4th color, are close to the focal point. And that's where I put those 2 colors, near here, not all over the place.
Okay.
I'm going to show you some examples. I'm going to do some. All right. So it's a silly little thing that I came up with about 10 years, I don't know, 15 years ago. And holy cow, it has made my life a whole lot easier. And I know, and again, I just want to repeat, I know we don't like to follow formulas. I actually follow this. I have one of these on every one of my tables. I can't remember it. You would think I would, but so now I'm ready to go.
Okay.
How are we doing, everybody? We're doing some questions. Any questions? No? All right. So the spice colors are 5% each. These are my Holbein colors. I should tell you, this is another thing I do. Every time I buy a brand new color to educate myself, I put it on my chart, and this is on my studio wall. So when I'm up there, I say, geez, that's the color I want. I know, oh, that's the cerulean blue. Boom. I really can't remember all of this stuff. I do now, but it was a nice way to get started and also to learn to appreciate your new colors. So it was kind of a thing. 2004, I just saw that. Holy Toledo. So yeah, I've been using the Holbein paints since 2004. Holy cow. And look, by the way, the colors are so beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Isn't that
beautiful.
amazing? And oh, look, they match the color wheel. Okay, enough of that. All right.
Enough of that.
So I'm going to be doing some painting using those color combinations. All right. And again, I'm going to be painting flat. I'll use this. This is a 9 by 12 inch with the Bristol. One more thing I do, everybody. I know some of you, a lot of you, by the way, have been in my workshops before. Thank you for coming back. Here's the paper. Now I paint with both hands. This thing will be sliding around. I don't want it to slide around. So I tape it. This is that brown, like box, cardboard box tape. So I tape it down, stick it there. There you are. Boom. Now I don't have to worry about it. All right. So what I think I'd like to do is do an example of my color combination. All righty. So we'll see where all this goes. I think I'll just do a simple figure, you know, a human figure here. All right. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. So let's get the color wheel out. Whoa-wee. All right. I'm going to, it says here, dominant red. Here we go. Big dollop of red. Focal point color. I'm going to put it down here. There you go. The other color. There we go. I'm going to even put it over. I even lay it out that way. You see? Because I'm so used to looking at my color wheel. And then the other blue, I got to get blue. Oh, that's right. I was going to make my own purple blue. Here's how I'm going to make my own purple blue.
So is it compost blue?
It's
or-
compost blue.
Okay.
And I'm going to add some of this luminous opera to it. Look at those two crazy colors. But I know when I mix them, it'll be the most beautiful purple. There we go. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Makes me want to
Beautiful.
paint. I know it may not appear as brilliant on your screens, but it's pretty nice though. So red's going to be the dominant color. I'm going to use a large brush. We all use too small of a brush. All right. And it's going to, well, let me show you. I'll bring them up. Thanks for getting these, Kate.
Yeah.
This is perfect. I like to practice. These are some of my color combinations. And I like to do a figure. You know, it's a little more interesting. So the dominant color is purple. I don't know if you can all see this, but yeah, it's mostly all purples in here. But look at all the different values of purples. The darkest and the lightest. See, I get to play with that. And the focal point, according to my color wheel, is this color. Well, you can't miss that person. And the other two spice colors, you see, I even have them proportionally, even in my little chart here.
Right.
Is this this orange color, marigold, and a little bit of that blue green, and bam, bam, there they are, bam, bam. Not all over the place. I'll just show you this one
That's
quickly.
great.
Yellow, dominant color, yellow. All right, but look at all the different kinds of yellows. So I like to play like that too. Well, the focal point here is this purple blue. Again, you can't miss it. I mean, I'm making it pretty simple for me. And the other two colors, the spice colors, would be this hot pinkish color and this blue. There you are, the hot pink and blue. See, now that you see it, and I've explained it, it kind of like, oh yeah, now I see it. You may not have noticed it right off the bat. I don't think anyway. Anyway, so that's what I'm about to do. All right.
And what are the spice colors of if your dominant is red? What are
The two spice colors will be that purple blue. We'll call it like marigold. No, not marigolds. I apologize.
Ultramarine.
Ultramarine, thanks. And the other spice color will be that green yellow, like a cad green light. I like to call it Kelly green. All right. So that's what I've got going on over here. All right. So let's get a dominant red. And this is going to be rather simple. Fine with me. crows are calling me because they know I feed them this time of the day. Yeah, there we go. This is why I like to use the paper towels. Wiping away. Interesting. All right, so the head's too big, making it smaller. Give it a little bit of a tilt, makes it a little bit more interesting. There you go. Now, again, I'm going to play more with the background before I get into this. I'm going to make it just a little bit darker. I'm using some of the spice colors, which normally would make caca. And I'm mixing them up, and yep, there it goes. Nice and caca. But do your mixing out here, it will be a clean caca. There we go. And it's nice to have some of it, the original red underneath, peek through. That's what gives it its vibrancy. You see? And down here, I might even make this lighter. So I wanted to show you that. And the way to make it lighter is I use this white gesso. And usually put out several dollops of it. That way I'll always have one clean one. I'm gonna go squeeze out and make this red a little bit lighter. This is marigold. This was yellow. I'm using it so I can have variations of the red. All right, so white here, definitely the white. Oh yeah. And you notice that I paint all over the place. I mean, at the same time, don't stay in one area too long. That's when it will get muddy. Okay, well, let's get into the focal point color at this point. I'm dabbing too much here. So the focal point color is this blue-green. Oh boy, this will be great. I'm gonna add a little bit. My pink. There we go. Can't do this without my opera. There we go. Whoa. See, you do all that's mixing here, not in here. Nice and dark. And as we get to the top, we'll add more white to it. Yeah. Something like that. Really want to highlight this. More red. Ooh. This is where that luminous opera comes in handy. You know, I'd like to get out maybe some primary magenta, which is still on the red side, just a little richer. You see? So it doesn't have to be one color. Make it interesting to look at. Don't bore people. And since I have that paint on my brush, I'm going to paint all over the place. It's called painting. Use my fingers. I love to use my fingers like that too. Wow. So what I'm working on here is dark to light, and then the dark to light up in here. I'm working on, and I haven't used black. I do use black, I know there's, I hear people, some of the art teachers say, never use black. And I say, why not? They sell it. So, I mean, if you use black, use it cautiously. Otherwise, it becomes a nice black hole. All right, in the painting. So I do use it sparingly, or to where I need a whole lot of contrast. So here's a big dollop of Mars black. You can buy these paints, by the way, in these tubs. So they don't always have to be in tubes. All right. So I'm going to put some dark up in here. Wow, it's a little more dramatic because there's more contrast. You see? Whoa. And it makes the red redder. Well, I have that color on the brush. I'm going to come in here and make it darker, even. And now I'm going to put a shadow. It helps to ground him. There's his other foot. Finger painting time.
Mhm.
Finger painting time. There we go. Now, what about, so we have the dominant color is red. See, there's my red painting. And the focal point color, of course, is this blue. It may not be exactly that blue, but hey, it's blue. This is not science research. This is having a good time. Now, the other two colors will be this darker blue, which I'm working on right now. Make it a darker blue. And then that green. This will be fun. Where am I going to put that green? This will be fun. So here comes the spice color. See, it's always close. It could be next to it. Could be different other places. And that light green, here it comes. I'm using my finger only because it's faster to show you. And wow, lots of white. By adding white to it, of course, you know, it makes it opaque. There we go. He's a vendor at a baseball game or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, or he has a green chainsaw. I have no idea. Now, the thing that's really neat about all this kind of painting is it's really difficult for you to judge it in the same area where you paint it, because I have all this competition. So what you need to do is, most artists in their studios, they have all these discarded mats. And it's kind of fun to put it over the painting, and you can see exactly what's right, what's wrong. Or you take pictures of it, right, on your iPad, on your iPhone, works. Or you just put it on another piece of paper like that. And now I can see exactly what's right, what's wrong, what I want to do. But right now, I'm just going to leave it alone. So you can. It's a good example of, with my color wheel, anyway, is that the dominant color would be red. And the focal point would be this blue. I probably need to come back more in. I can see right now, that's one of the nice things about, that's where I need to do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't have enough of my focal point color there. A lot more interesting. Okay. And then the two spice colors would be that darker purple bluish and a little bit of this green. It seemed to work out okay. And I practice this all the time. It can be figures, it can be flower vases, landscape. Oh yeah, it works every time. As long as you follow a color wheel. As long as you follow a color wheel. How are we all doing, everybody? And there's my tape. How are we doing okay? You have any big questions or little questions?
I'm gonna put it on you.
Oh, great, thanks. I'm gonna take a mini break here. Hey, ask me any questions. So you can see here, This is the canvas. It's part of my ladies series. It's a combination, really. There's a lot of collage in here too. I like to do a lot of collage stuff. But it's basically your primaries: red, yellow, blue. Mostly blue. Really strong reds in here, and a little bit of yellow, just a touch of yellow in the shoulders. Bam, bam, bam.
Bam, yeah.
But lots of different variations of those 3 primaries. I like to give myself painting assignments like this. I loved them in college. I loved it when they had us do something and come back a week later. So I still, to this day, I give myself painting assignments, and it's usually based on themes. We're gonna keep on showing some stuff for about 10 minutes, and then we'll take a mini break. And I'm gonna come back and talk about the neutrals. So there's some neutrals up in here, some neutrals over here. Oh boy, talk about neutrals in here and how to make them, and why it's kind of important. You can have color everywhere. It's also fun to almost restrain yourself, which is hard for me to do here in the studio, but then to do gentler, my softer voice, if you want to say that. But I'm going to show you all about neutrals after that and how to make them, and why you can see how they can be pretty effective in your work. All right.
Okay.
So that'll be the fun part. So anybody, I'm going to stay here for another, it looks like I have another 10 minutes. I might be able to do another quick demo.
Why don't you do another demo?
I'm going to do another demo. Okay.
I think that sounds like
And this
a
will
good
be with-
idea.
I have a question, Bob.
Oh, Judy has a question.
I have a
Please.
question. You used to gesso your paper, and you don't
Thank
do that
you.
anymore?
Oh, no, I actually do. And let me
Okay.
thank you for that question, by the way.
And I'm adding on to that question. Why do you gesso your, I think I know the answer because you've said it and I kind of remember. But why do you gesso your paper and not use the straight paper? Because that has certain qualities to it.
Right, okay, so
Yeah.
so I will answer the question. Yes, I gesso everything. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Paper, canvases, boards, wooden panels. I gesso everything with real good gesso, which is Utrex gesso. That gets a big click. Utrex, yeah. It has the most pigment, and I just happen, it's thick. I learned this billions of years ago when I would need to buy a canvas at an art store. It had gesso on it.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful. It already had gesso on it. You just painted it. But when you came to paper, the problem with watercolor paper was that watercolor paper has been designed to be a blotter. And you put paint on it and it goes, it soaks right in. Now I don't have any playtime that I'm used to doing on a canvas because it doesn't soak in. There's several layers of the answer here. Also, the acrylic paints that I use, or oils, will stick better on top of a gessoed canvas. Now, problem is, I don't know what kind of gesso they used on that canvas when I bought it from China. I don't know what the gesso is, and my paints would react differently. So I leveled the playing field by putting the same gesso that I use in my studio on that canvas that I bought at the store. So that's now the second coat of gesso on it, right? But it's my gesso. And then I would put it on paper because whatever I painted on the canvas and with the paper, I knew the paint would react the same because the substrate was the same. It's a long answer. But so in other words, it's just one less thing for me to worry about. And yeah, I know you spend $18 for a sheet of watercolor paper, and then I'm destroying it completely. Yay! I like doing that. And that's why I recommend Kilimanjaro. It's very similar to all that expensive good stuff and almost half price. You're not going to believe it. So it sounds like a real sales pitch right there. But I'm just trying to save you some money. So when you buy 5 sheets, comes in packs of 5 sheets, you're going to just be painting like crazy because it's that's all I'm going to say about it.
Thank you.
Sorry. Well, yeah. So that's why I gesso everything. So all my surfaces, whether it's canvas or paper, it's all the same. And my paints stick to it really well. And I've been doing it for almost 25 years, and I've never had a problem. Now,
Do you-
here comes out of the other side of the mouth. I didn't have time to gesso these pieces, but because it's really good Bristol Strathmore paper, it can take the same kind of beating and treatment, I should say, right? So I can do that. See, it's pretty heavy duty, wonderful, right? I'm going to do that here too.
Question.
Yes.
Do you gesso your watercolor paper when you're using watercolors?
Good question. No,
Okay.
I do love the beautiful principles of watercolor and
Okay.
how it works. I mean, my gosh, look at Charles Reed and those guys and how they say that beautiful white part of
Yeah.
the paper. I mean, I do respect. I don't do watercolors that much anymore. I just don't. Gosh, I have all these wonderful watercolors, but I don't do them that much. Only because I think I'm just so focused on the acrylics. I have tons of oils, but I just don't want to just get into it right now.
Mhm.
And I love all kinds of painting. So that's why if I had a business card, oh my gosh, if I had a business card and say Robert Burridge, I wouldn't put underneath here watercolorist like a lot of people do. That means you're stuck there. Or just
Yeah,
put painter.
right.
Everybody just put painter.
I
That's
like
what you
that.
are. Yeah, it's a lot easier,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So when people say, what do you do? I'm a painter. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do another one.
Okay, so I'm gonna replace the spotlight.
What
There
am
we
I
go.
painting? What am I painting now?
I want to
Thank
get-
you.
A pear. You're welcome. All right. So since I have the paints out here already out, I'm going to use the same color scheme. This is always a fun subject. I know you've watched me before.
And they'll be doing it in the loosen up class.
Oh, in the loosen up class, cool. I have to get my paper towels in my hand. It's my security blanket.
Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about, Bob,
Yeah, please.
is that, you have 2 workshops coming up. So the Loosen Up with Aqua Media and then Abstract and Collage, where they're going to be doing collage with paper and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's the
What-
difference between those 2?
Well, one's with collage and one's without collage. And one is abstract, all right, and one is not.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's my loosen up. It's kind of what I'm about to do right now, and fruits and vegetables and florals and landscapes and is that a 2-day one?
That's a 3-day. one.
Oh, great! Yeah, so we're gonna do every one of those subjects I just mentioned, and it is about loosening up. See, I use a big brush, and that's why a lot of people sign up. We all want to loosen up.
And then I'll pop in and say that the 4-day abstract class, it's strictly abstract. So no florals, no landscapes, no pears. It will all be abstract, maybe with some of those abstract figures that you saw him do for the first demo. And collage, such as the things we have behind him on the wall. So there'll be that kind of abstract plus non-objective abstract painting and collage.
Well, you said that so much better than me.
Yeah.
Nah, that's good.
But this is a pair.
It's gonna be a pair. So I'm making a mess. I always start off with a mess. Always. I always like to say under every great painting is a great abstract painting. So now I'm gonna do some negative shape painting. I'm gonna get rid of the part that doesn't look like a pear.
Amazing.
Wow. I make sure that this is mostly red. Ish.
Lots of light.
That's all. Thanks. see why I have several dollops of white always sitting out ready to go.
Mhm.
So I don't have to stop and then pour it out. I like the cadence of painting. So I like to have everything ready to go. I don't like to ever stop. There's no phones in my studio. No electronic interruptions. Dark. All right, how do I go darker over here? Nah, wrong color. Oh, blue. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh, excuse me. I get excited. Sure. I'm an excitable child. Lighten up. That's a little bit more. Whew. And what was the other color? Blue. We'll definitely make sure the shadow's bluish. Kind of a Wayne Thibault. Wayne Thibault Burridge, you wish. See, I'm still using
Mhm.
just those colors. And it's still mostly reddish, right? But I'm playing with all the different values. That's the other thing. To get you guys to play more with the values. And don't be afraid of you. Look, I'm just picking up a yellow. One of the nice things about painting quickly is you can do this kind of painting right on here sometimes, and it won't get too muddy. And I don't hesitate, by the way. I mean, if you stop and think about it, you might not do it. No, I trust my brush. Thank goodness it's it's acrylic. And now reshaping it, giving it a sense of a pear. I've got color everywhere. And the whole painting holds together because I'm using a very limited palette. So I have my dark against my light, dark against my light. Might want to be even lighter.
Is this monochromatic, Bob, or is?
No, this is going to be those three colors. This will be this from this color wheel. It has a monochromatic feel to it right now. I haven't really put in the two spice colors yet. Good question, though. What I wanted to do was really emphasize the dark light, dark light. Now, now I'm going to come in with the, oh yeah, here comes the spice color.
Mhm.
I'm going to mix it up out here. And, I need more white. Hope you're all doing okay. I don't hear any grunting.
I don't either.
Having fun here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, then, thank you. That's the whole idea, isn't it, folks? I'm not going to do it if I'm going to be miserable. Here comes the fun part.
This
Where's,
camera is starting to glow, though. It's
thank you.
red hot.
That means you're having way too
Yeah.
much wine.
Not today.
And here,
That's tomorrow.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
So I've just brought in some blue.
Huh.
This will be the spice, the focal point color, rather. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still pretty wet, so I'm dragging color around here a little bit. But I'm just making it more interesting. I'm starting to realize it's starting to look like my butt. I'm not so sure around here. There we go. So, and then the other blue, and here comes that green. Guess where that's going to go? Right in there. Right on top of it. Whew.
Oh, you're matching your shirt again.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't know why I wear an apron. I paint on all my clothes. Makes me look professional.
aprons for
too
everyone
much.
else, so they know you're
Yeah.
a painter.
Yeah, I know. Still, sometimes when I go out, I still have paint all over me. I realize it's getting out of hand up in here. All right, I'm gonna pull it back. Gotta pull it back.
What are you going to do?
I got it.
My paintings are starting to commit Harry Carey.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks, Kate. And come back on this side, because that's where I wanted to go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what I wanted. And bring it around up here. Give it a real shoulder. Oh, I like that. And more. This is when, you get to a level of a painting, you just want to goof around with it more. Well, that's really what I'm doing right now. Just goofing around with it right now. And then I will let it dry. And I also don't make a decision the day that I do a painting, if it's done or not. I actually put it up on the wall. So when I come in the next day, I can see what's right, what's wrong.
Mhm.
Always. So I never make that decision. Need to come up in here. There we go. There we go. A little bit more interesting. And give it a bling bling. This is the makeup. Makeup. There we go. Bling bling. Woo. Spotlight. Juicy pears. Geez, you think this thing has transformed around a lot? Changed?
Mhm.
Basically, it's pretty subtle. The spice color, the blue over here, is pretty subtle right now. It's hard to see on this monitor. And then the other two colors will be this blue, darker blue, which is underneath here, and a little green. Touch of green up there in the top. Whoa. And I also like to bring in a light color in here, as if it were reflecting the color over here. Otherwise, this would be a big dead spot. If I brought that dark all the way down here, this would be a hole. And so I pretend that this is a really wet piece of fruit, and it's picking up some of the red reflecting from a wall on the other side of the room. It just gives that pear a little bit more lightness too. So that was done with fingers and paper towels and big fat brushes and a pretty limited palette. So did anybody have a question? I'm going to change this up a little bit. We're going to take a 2 or 3 minute break, I think.
I'm gonna put you here.
And I'm going to get some more different things to put on the back wall.
Because you're gonna do neutrals.
I'm going to be doing neutrals.
And they're on the back wall.
Oh, they're already out there. Okay, sure. So I'm going to be doing neutrals here on the table. All right, so make sure you put more ice in your glass of wine, and I'll see you here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go muting. Okay. Any questions? No.
Anyone have any
No.
questions? Oh, come on, you guys are all way
No
too
question.
quiet.
I know, they're very quiet. My
Wow.
goodness.
Well, except for Mary. She's
Yeah, I'm never quiet.
Hey.
Aren't you
All
glad I
right.
rejoined?
No.
always. For
Sweet.
Did
Sweet.
you guys get a chance to talk about? I know we kind of talked about the workshops and that kind of stuff, but how we're going to be doing it. Everything's on Zoom now at the Art Center. So we now have Bob on Zoom, and we had Mary White on Zoom earlier.
Oh, nice.
I
Nice.
know. They did some great self-portraits. But
Oh, God.
I know, right? So you don't have a live model. You got self-portraits.
You gotta do
It's
something.
funny that you've been saying that. It's funny that I've been avoiding that for all these years.
You
And
haven't.
finally about to do one, and I won't show it to anybody yet. But yeah, I got some hangups about it. But I got to do it. I'm
Right.
writing a piece on doing
Bob,
the
do we
self-portraits.
have to give you a hall pass?
Yeah. My permission slip.
Give you
Yes.
give your permission, yeah. Permission to do a self-portrait. and show people. But yeah, so the art center is all our classes are on Zoom, so anyone can do them, be it
Oh, that's so great.
or anything. And that's why we were able to bring you guys Bob and artists from all over the country. And
Which is
local.
great,
I know. It's just,
really great.
the only thing I miss is that I miss seeing all you guys. I really do.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really hitting all of us really hard right about now.
It
I mean,
is.
Yeah.
literally,
Hey, I had a plan. I even had the place that we were going to take you this year. So the place that's known for the best Mai Tais in town.
Oh,
Where is that?
Oh, that is,
you are a bad girl.
I know.
Bad
Well,
girl.
last 2 years ago, we took him to the Salty Dog. That was fun.
Yeah,
yes,
that was great.
that's a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See, hey, look, I
Bad
found
girl, bad girl.
it.
So where would it have been this year?
It was going to be the
McDonald's.
no. It was it's the tiki place.
Oh, right. Next to the Salty Dog.
A tiki
No,
place.
not next to the Salty Dog. It's actually down,
O'Leary's.
no, the one on 41. It's okay.
Listen to
I'll
them.
remember it by
Oh,
the demo.
The Buy High Hut?
Yes, thank you, Judy. The Buy
Yeah.
High Hut.
Do you know how long that's been there?
They just
No,
a long time.
Really?
I
That
didn't
was
even
there
know
when I
about
was in the 50s.
wow.
Well, that would be why it has the best Mai Tais in Sarasota.
Wow.
They've had a long time to perfect the recipe, but yeah, it's
And the
been
the
busy.
Melody restaurant that's on next to it,
Yeah.
which was an iconic place back in the 60s and 70s here. I noticed the other day when I was up there, it's for sale.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many. Like, I think O'Leary's is one of the few Chicky Hut
Mhm.
restaurants that we still have in town. Unless you go like,
I think isn't there one down in Venice on the canal down by the airport?
there might be. I don't think I've been to that one. I know.
I don't drink, so I don't know. But
No, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not really either, but we go there for the local color because it's always a
Sure.
good story. But let's see.
you ought to take him to the Red Barn.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
one. We can go
Not
in.
the not no it's not the Red Barn. It's that bar that's on Burridge, just east of
okay. I thought you meant we were
that
going.
opens at 7 in the morning, and their cars lined up there at 7.
Oh my gosh.
The only place in town you can buy beer kegs. I don't know why I know that actually. So, not that I buy beer kegs, only for the art center. No, seriously, it was only for the art center. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing people again. But we get to see them
Yep.
through Zoom, and I'm actually really liking this fact that I can see people that I don't normally see. No. Like I get to see Judy, even though she's hiding in her house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I mean, Elaine is doing the same thing. I haven't seen her in a while. Hey,
Well, I see you.
yeah, you have stopped by a couple times, which I appreciate. But I there's no way I'll be able to see Liz. I mean, she's all the way out in Tucson. So
I know.
Yeah,
And
that's
Barbara's in
hard.
Canada.
yep. Mary,
It's
where-
lonely.
where
It's
are
really
you?
lonely.
You're,
I said it's very lonely.
No, it is.
know,
I'm-
The pandemic blues. I think a lot of people are getting the pandemic blues.
well,
You
I
know,
did something-
even though there's good things about it, it's like this is great.
yes.
You know, not to have to go out when I have a caregiving responsibility. So for me, this is wonderful.
Well, and that's one of the things that we're going to continue doing is like, so these Wednesday night events, the demos are going to continue. And then we also at the Art Center do a couple other programs that are online, and that happen every week or once a month, because we just want to see each other's faces. So tomorrow is our happy hour. We're gonna have artist happy hour, which Bob and Kate joined us for a couple times, so that was fun.
Well, we got the salon on the second Friday
Yeah.
of the
There
month.
we go. Yeah. Anyway, that was a great idea, Elizabeth. I love that.
And what else? Oh, and the book club. We do.
Yeah.
June is meeting every other week right now because of other responsibilities, and but we're reading Jerry Saltz's How to Be an Artist and just talking. I mean,
Oh, nice.
I like finding out everyone else's stories, and
Mm.
Judy tells a story.
You know something that
about Ringo.
And we all have stories.
We
don't
do.
Yeah.
We do, and it's a great time to share those.
and something that Zoom meetings are doing, if you go to things like the book on Mondays and certain things you go to on a regular basis, you get to know people better than you would normally because everybody's
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives everyone a
That's
chance
true.
because we can't meet in person or have opening receptions or
Right.
even go out to lunch with someone is easy these
No.
days. We can meet each other and just chat over Zoom. And so our community has been getting closer, which is so great. What was
That's
the-
interesting, huh?
Oh, and we're doing, we added one more thing, which is a mail art exchange. Bob,
Yeah, what?
you can send some 5x7s and we'll send you artwork from other people back.
And why do I need to do that?
Because you need more stuff.
You are a male.
Yeah, I said that's it. I need more things to do.
Yes.
Do you
No,
realize how old I
no.
am here? I'm editing my life, my
I think
studio.
Kate's been doing a pretty good job of keeping you busy. So
Oh, and I love being here.
Yeah.
Seriously, I come down early in the morning. I stop off and take care of my girls, the chickens. I feed the crows. We have a murder of crows outside all the time, which
Oh,
is great,
nice.
by the way. And we have about 18 deer, and so we have a little deer section where I
Perfect.
feed them too. And so it's kind of like, and I'm in the studio by 8. I crank up the music and do a little. I do a lot of writing, journaling in my sketchbook. Why I'm here? Why am I here today? You get all that crap out of my head. It's journaling. And then I'm okay. Now I know exactly what I'm doing. Then I get my honey-do list from Kate. And now I know exactly what I'm doing today, right? And when it's due. So it's works out. It works out.
Yeah, I mean,
So
art is a full-time job.
It is.
oh no, this is not a hobby. Oh no, it's a business.
Not at all.
But it's your choice. Listen, good for you for doing it for just pure pleasure. Good for you. You don't have to sell it, but wouldn't it be nice to be in like local shows and local
Yes.
invitation shows with another group so you don't have to take on the full responsibility of the entire exhibition? So I really do highly recommend you join your local communities. There's an art group in every one, and you're absolutely right. The camaraderie is great, and you learn back and forth, and blah 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 blah. Enough of all that. Anyway, I wanted to show you something
And
here.
your local art center.
At your local
We're
art
gonna be
center.
quiet.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hint, hint, hint. All right, I wanted to
Yeah.
show you drawing paper. And it's toned gray paper. I don't really stress this one when I paint, but mostly I put a tone over the entire painting, a warm tone, orange or reddish or something like that. That's the way I was trained. And it's from the old days, the classics. The original tone of any color on their canvases was a reddish color. Okay, so we're kind of trained that way. So I do put a tone, and again, in your page 4, of your painting book, it will say, well, first of all, you tone it down to a number 5, your paper, you know, a number 5. So it's either 10 being the darkest, 0 being the lightest. If you put 5 down, you're halfway done. You're halfway done. All I have to do is put in my blacks and put in my whites and I'm done. So that's why they tone a canvas before they do painting. We were trained that way. Now, I wanted to point out to you, because I love drawing classes too, and I still teach those, but I wanted to point out the same thing in drawing. Here they already have the tone on. Look, all you had to do is put the darkest darks and the lightest light. You're done.
Done.
Beautiful, isn't it? So monochromatic. So I just want you to know, and I do hope you do drop in drawing classes. Every community has them. And don't worry about your drawing skills. Nobody cares. And if you are lucky enough to have, you know, the undraped model, you are very fortunate because there are a billion other artists out there doing the same thing. You learn everything about how to see hills, valleys, color, shifting, and things like that. And that's why you see an awful lot of people in those drawing classes drawing on a toned drawing paper. Okay, this one happens to be a Strathmore. And there's a kind of a brownish one too. Something like shopping bags. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that just using 3 values.
Yeah.
3 values. There's your mid-tone 5, lightest light, and the darkest dark. See how easy art is? Now, here's a completely different subject about color. So we talked about the purity of color and how it can really pop all over the place. And I've noticed as I get a little bit older, some of my colors have gotten softer. And I actually wanted to start thinking about neutrals. Neutrals, and what are they? So I did my research and all that good stuff. And if you use the standard color wheel, we know that if you use complementary colors, 2 colors like a red and a green off the standard color, and you mix it up, you're going to get the most horrible color. It'll be mud dish. But if you add lots of white to it,
Mhm.
it becomes the most beautiful neutral. And so that becomes the mid-tone. And then you can put your red on top of that and your green on top of that, and that thing will just pop. So you don't have to have color everywhere, you know, like a circus wagon or something like that. So I do like the quiet areas and then the busy areas like that. Right. Now, this is a good example here of using actually red and green together. Oh my gosh, look how that red stands out. Oh, look how that green. Well, if you mix them up, it's going to get pretty dark. But it will still hold together because it's from the same family. And then when I add a whole lot of white to it, and I got this. So it's mostly
Beautiful.
greenish, but look at all the different values. And of course, your eye goes to one focal point. Bingo, over here. This one right here is another figure. And look at all the neutrals are in here. It might be too subtle to see it, all the neutrals in there, but there's a lot of, but it's mostly violet. Some collage work is still in here. I love collage. That's why I love doing that stuff. New textures. And I'm working on strong colors, strong contrast, and bam, take the 2 colors, purple and black, mix it all up, add a lot of white to it, and bam.
Why don't you bring that closer to the camera so they could
Sure.
see the subtlety in the collage?
It's pretty
Yeah,
subtle.
for those of you that are taking the 4-day
Oh, I'd love
abstract
it.
painting,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you'll be doing things
You're
like
welcome.
this, and it'll show you what to do with how to do the muteds as well.
I'm gonna do the muted right now.
Yeah.
All right, good, thanks.
Love
I mean, that's a wild, crazy. I don't know if I would have ever come up with that color if I hadn't mixed this, and there's a little bit of blue in here and a lot of white, and I came up with that. It's like putty. It's almost like it has a putty color
And
to
he'll
it.
show you how it.
And here's how that works.
Here's the magic. Yeah. So do you want the overhead now?
I think the overhead, I'm gonna try my.
Okay, here we go. You're there. You can see it.
All right,
Uh,
I'm gonna try and be. It's hard for me to do this
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, there we go.
That's perfect, Bob.
The table's wet. All right. So if you go to my color wheel, so I showed you when you mix complementary colors, you automatically will get that neutral color. And I was asked, well, what about your color wheel? So let's find out. That was a great question. So here we are. I mixed red and the color across from there, not green as in the standard color wheel, was this kind of a bluish green color. So I mixed those two colors. Here you are, red, I mix them together and a lot of white, bam. But let's keep on going. Here's the orange and blue. Orange and blue, mix them together, a lot of white. I would have never known that color came out of there. But see, when after this has become the neutral tone, I can take these two pure colors and put them on top of there. That's what makes it so cool. That's why it helps it. And I'm going to keep on going. Yellow and dark blue and blue. Yellow, blue. Of course, it's going to make it green. I may not like that green, so I'm going to add a lot of white to it. How about green and purple? There we go. Green and purple. Oh boy, that's really going to go dark. And it did. I added all that white into it. Just a beautiful chart. See now, and I have this hanging in the studio. So when I want that color, I'll know exactly how to get it. Here's the other one, green and pink. Here's your hot pink and the green and pink. Look at that beautiful. They're all different though.
I was gonna take it when you're done.
Oh, good, thanks. But they're still gorgeous, aren't they? Very soft, very pastelish. Blue, red, usually you're gonna get purple-ish, but not particularly this one. This is kind of like a cerulean blue, and there's that pyro red. Mix them together. I would have never known I got that color from there. But again, white. All the way. So I have this whole chart that I put together just for myself that I hang in the studio. So when I start to do here's a diptych I'm working on right now. Look how subtle some of those colors are. There's about a couple. So there's collage in this one too. But so subtle.
The reason for putting the neutrals, it makes the brights
Colors
pop.
pop. Yeah.
Pop.
Makes it pop more. Yes, question. Is there a question
Is there a
yet?
question?
Anyway, this is a diptych. I like to use 2 sheets, put them together and paint that way too.
And again, this is what the second workshop is going to be all about, exactly
Oh.
what this one is.
Oh.
The abstract acrylic painting
Oh,
and
good.
collage, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm.
That means I get to paint a lot, which is always
Yeah.
great.
So
All
now
right.
this is the neutrals you're gonna do.
It's gonna be in neutrals.
Cool.
And it will be abstract. I mean, abstract, right, Kate? Yeah. Well,
I have the list.
you have the list. Yes, the list.
You have a piece of paper there?
I'm gonna get a bigger piece of paper. I'm gonna use this. Oh, this will be fun. So this is a 16 by 16 inch watercolor paper. I put the tape down on here so it doesn't slide around. Good, we'll do that. Make sure you all can see that. There we go. Yes, my paper towels, my color wheel. I gotta have my color wheel. I do not have this thing memorized. I'm really lazy. There we go. Well, I memorize it when I have them all over the place in here. Okay. Clean water. Get rid of all my paper towels. I clean up as much as I possibly can. Now I'm going to be using a lot of white. So I'm going to make sure I have a lot of white out here. Whoa.
And you have to make those sounds too.
Oh, yeah, to make it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not used to so much. So those are the popsicle sticks. They're handy. And this is going to be some gray. Okay, good. And again, I only put on the table what's going to serve me for this painting. I don't have extra brushes. I don't have cans of old brushes that I would have never used. People love to collect brushes and put them in cans. I don't know why you do that, but anyway. And then you display them in front of you. Look how many brushes I brought. How many brushes do you really paint with? 4. If the shoe fits. You're all guilty of it. I don't know why you display brushes in front of you that you don't ever use. Oh, the other thing that makes me laugh. There are always those skinny ones. You have 2 hairs on each brush. And say, what the hell are you going to do with that brush? You'll poke your eye out with that thing. So anyway, yeah, be a painter. Use big brushes. Okay. Oh, by the way, when you do go buy a brush, I actually have to buy it in an art store. I can't do mail order brushes. I have to feel it. And so any brush you pick off the brush display, as soon as you do it, put it back and get the next one bigger. You all get a brush too small. All right. That's my advice for the day. All right.
Okay.
A little water. Mm. My composition, I'm gonna do something different here. Purple green. I'm gonna mix up some purple green and then a lot of white. And that's gonna be my neutral color. So here's my purple. This color is amethyst. I've got some green here. Now you know when you mix those 2 colors, it's gonna be caca. It is not gonna be a nice color, but I am gonna be mixing a lot of white into it. I'm gonna get that tone down first. I'm also gonna be doing some, while it's still wet, it's something I really enjoy doing a lot, is to draw on my paper, wet or dry, with these graphite crayons. They dissolve in water. So you get all kinds of wrong things happening in muddy areas and fun areas. And this is a 10B. They're known as a 10B would be the blackest. And they're called Lyras, Lyra. And so I get a whole lot of, and they're really inexpensive. So I get a whole lot of them. And more of a manly hold. Look how thick, it's a jumbo stick. So it's not like a tiny little pencil. So I kind of like this. And again, the paper really takes a beating. So here we go. We're going to start right off with the neutral. Mixing. Yeah, big brush here. Oh, this is going to be great. Always wet your brush first. That way the paint will flow off the brush. Don't ever put dry brush into paint. So I wet my brush always first. Do my mixing right now. Oh, it's too much off camera. Sorry. I'm going to do something here. Hold on.
Oh, that's better.
And straighten her out.
That's better.
Now you
Love
can
it.
see. Okay.
Yeah, good.
I love these articulated armatures that hold the camera. Okay, there we go. So that's oh boy. It looks like something I just found in the woods. So I'm going to. Oh, but now it's beautiful. And the composition, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
Will be asymmetrical, which means it will be off balance. But see how loose I am at the very beginning of a painting? I mean, I make sure I'm having fun at the very beginning of this whole thing. Some of you like to put in all kinds of detail first and say, oh, I'll loosen up later. No, you won't. No, you won't. You're just so happy you got something that makes it look like something. So looks like it's becoming a focal point over here. Oh. And more dark over here. I want to go darker, but not black. So I'm mixing the purple and the green. That's what's on my color wheel. I'm gonna go even darker. Whoa. Oh, by going dark over here, it makes this brighter. How do you make your lights lighter? You make your darks darker. How do you make your darks darker? You make your lights lighter. Oh gosh. Oh, I do like this coloring though. One of the things that I really like doing right now is what I'm doing right now is working with color I've never seen myself ever having done before. Too much. There we go. It is shocking stuff. Mixing now those colors almost raw. Little violet, little green. So it peeks through here a little bit. That becomes a little more interesting. And again, I like to paint this all over. Whoa, I love this. Jeez. All over at the same time. I'm gonna make it even lighter. Goodbye, focal point.
Mhm.
I always like to say anybody who doesn't change their mind doesn't have one. All right, so we'll keep on going over here. This is pretty subtle. I know. But, and that's what I like about it. Now, what about the drawing stick? Now, you can either do drawing, which I love to do, you have the back end of your brush, like this. It's going to be the focal point. It's kind of my aerial view. I've been doing a series of circus, looking straight down from the trapeze. So I've got a lot of this stuff inside of me right now. But I like the energy back in here. See, so I have busy areas and quiet areas. Now when I get into drawing, because I love to. So in some areas, it's actually going to make some nice dark lines. In some areas, it just won't. Depends on the wetness. But I do like the texture. And to help hold it all together, you work all over the place. Don't stay in one area too long. And have matching. This is the audience. Sure it is. I do like that texturing, kind of a nice surprise. But now I want to come back in here and for pure, I use pure color purple. Oh yeah. Oh. Well, it's really wet, but I'm going to keep on painting. I don't care.
Is he turned off everybody?
I turned him off. No, what, just wait.
Yeah, okay. So just a little bit of that. And maybe we'll put in some orange in here and that's it. No, gotta have some red. It's circus. Just as a surprise. And it's one of those paintings I could work all week long on it. That's a great exercise, by the way, is if you've been painting flowers all week or, puppy dog portraits or whatever, it's really great to one day we completely break out and paint the way you've never seen yourself ever painting before. Kind of important. In fact, why do the same thing you did last week? You did it last week. Aren't you more curious to see what else you could do? So yeah, that's your painters. So I like to, how do I say this? Invent new things or do something that no one has ever seen before. I think that's one of the wonderful gifts that we do have is to create things, all of us, to create things that no one else has ever seen before. Can you imagine that? Think about that. So that's why you don't want to do mediocre kinds of stuff, the stuff that everybody else does. The problem with mediocrity There's so much competition. So, there we go. Wow. So this, again, this is one of those things where I would stop at this point. Stop at this point and stick it up in the wall after it has dried. And do another one. I always work on a series. So I'll get another big sheet out and work on that one too. Work on that one too. And keep it over and over. And all of a sudden now I have a series. It could be, called the trapeze series or something like that. So I still do a lot of circus stuff. The circus has been very, very good to me. Yeah. So I still do it. And I just still like the entertainment value of it. So now look at this coloring. I mean, it's pretty subtle right in here. You may not be able to see it. I'm going to do one more thing in here. Changing this. Now that I've talked a little bit.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna make this still soft, neutral, but not as much as up in here. I'm gonna lighten this up. Right now the lightness right in here, which is nice.
Bob, we have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
They,
Question.
Diane would like to know what you use to hang the paintings on the wall.
Oh, the same brown tape. It's the only tape I use. It's the only tape I use in the studio because it really works. The same stuff I used to bring to the workshops there in Sarasota. So it's from Uline, a great catalog, and just go online and get it. And it's known. It doesn't have any special name other than it's brown.
It's pressure sensitive craft tape.
You hear that? Pressure sensitive. It's sticky. Craft.
I
KRAFT.
put the item number down there and
Wow.
the website is coming in now.
Wow, there it is. So I buy this in boxes because here's what's really beautiful about this tape. First of all, it's really sticky. So I know you all don't buy that blue tape or that green tape because it's so pretty. The problem with that tape is it doesn't stick. So these are heavy paintings, right? So I just stick on. Here's the best part. It holds it up and it doesn't take the paint off the wall. Don't say I didn't tell you. So, and you can get it 1 inch or 2 inch. All right, there you go. Great, wonderful question. That was the commercial.
That was the commercial portion of our program.
Provided by.
That's right.
Oh. Yeah, you see? I mean, it's just a small piece of paper, and if I'm not adventurous here, I won't have that same adventure. I won't be as adventurous if I work on something larger. So I don't have that much to lose, so to speak. This is a great size, I think, everybody, to play like this. Oh, man. What a color. Now, here's the other thing, we're looking at color right now. And I'm saying, what a color. Here's one of the nice things about the Holbein paint or the better paints. They will dry with the same intensity as when they were wet. Whereas you get less expensive paints, they won't. Looking a little bit more interesting. A little more interesting. Now, I think it needs a couple shots of rubbing alcohol. And that's where the bubbles are going to come in. So this is my rubbing alcohol squirt bottle. Let's see what happens. It'll be pretty subtle if you see anything.
Yeah.
Can you see it on the screen? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty subtle.
Yeah. Tell them what the rubbing alcohol will do.
So most watercolors love this, and acrylic painters. What it does, it creates little bubbles, a little pattern, like little eddies. And it just adds another level of texture. And it's usually unplanned. So many people used to go to workshops with the little spray bottle of alcohol because they were told by their friends, but some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, in a little plastic misters. And you put this rubbing alcohol in those little misters. Don't do that. Don't, because the end we're going, pss, 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 pss. And guess what? Guess what? It vaporizes and goes into your lungs. Oh my God. So don't use them. So I get these big industrial, spray bottles for soaps and things like that. And what's really nice, you can adjust the nozzle right there. This little nozzle, you can adjust it, and you actually shoot. And I stand back. You don't do it on top of it. All right, because it'll miss out. So I stand back so that I have a stream, pardon me, I have a stream from this, and it literally falls on the painting. So it comes into a splash. So you can adjust it. I don't know if you can see that here. All right. This is gonna be fun. And by the by, alcohol is great for taking
All right.
paint.
I'm trying, you're down on the.
All right, sorry, that's right. It's great for taking paint off of surfaces too. I'm doing that right now.
Does it have to be wet paint?
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be wet paint. Thanks. Well, now it's getting a kind of like a patina. I really like it. Well, again, it's not something I would normally have done. I don't like doing the same old thing, but I do a series. Wow.
Bob, with the
There's all kinds of stuff.
alcohol,
There's rubbing alcohol sprayed all over it. Yeah.
right, but does it matter? Like, does it have to be the really strong stuff, or can it be anything?
Oh no. Oh, I see. No,
Yeah.
I haven't found a difference between 70% or the 90%.
Okay.
So make sure it's the rubbing alcohol and not that green mint stuff. It's usually stored next to the rubbing alcohol in the grocery stores or wherever. So don't get that mint stuff. You want rubbing alcohol, and it doesn't matter. And it's really inexpensive. I got a big bottle. I think I just picked up a gallon of it not too long ago. Pretty hard to get there for a while. This is where I really like. This is the other reason why I like this paper. Look, it still stays flat. Gosh, it's great stuff. It's almost like leather. This is starting to feel like it's leather. Wow. Yeah. And it's pretty subtle as far as neutrals. It still has a slight tone of the violet in there. I do like some of this stuff, but I want to bring some strong colors back in here. These are the colors now that were used to make this. I like to put it in raw like this, so I can remind myself what colors did I use. These two are fighting. Nah, no fighting, no fighting. I do like to play, and it's a lot fun. It's a lot more funner to play on a larger piece of paper like this. Canvases too, of course, everybody. How we doing? You're so quiet. Anybody working on anything?
Well, this is a demo. so
I
I'm
know,
not
it's just
looking at anything. Yeah.
They're all just staring at you.
You're staring at me. What's that? What was that great line? I like to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Peter Sellers. Shirley MacLaine. That's what it was. Mr. Chauncey or something like that. Yeah. That's interesting, though. When I do see a lot of those things on Facebook of people, watch me paint a painting, and you know, and I can't stand to watch it because I just know their heads are spinning. My head is spinning. I want to keep changing it. I want to go one direction in the paint. So I can't watch that stuff. But if you're learning, yeah, watch those things. Yeah.
I cheat sometimes. I fast forward.
Take advantage.
You have a comment. I notice you don't rotate the painting as you work.
Oh, that's a great comment. You know what I do? I rotate. It's true. I just have lights up right now on the other side of the table, so I can't rotate. Yeah, and it's the other reasons. I like to put this on a board, and I rotate the board. Usually have another board that this sticks onto, and I rotate that board. So I walk around the studio like I'm carrying a pizza on these pieces of half-inch thick foam board. Half-inch thick foam board. So I have a whole lot of those. So I walk around like a pizza boy, and it's a lot easier to handle wet canvas, wet papers, without getting my fingerprints on them and all that. Yeah. So the boards, the foam boards, are just a little bit larger than this, and I will rotate those. But I want to make a big point. So many of us artists, when we first start out, what do? We take our easel or the table that we're painting on, and you jam it up against the windows or the jam it up against the walls. You all do that. If you can, put your painting table in the middle of your room. Get rid of that bed, pull up that shag rug. Now it's your studio. And put your table in the middle. And that is exactly what I do. I walk around the whole table. I just do. I consider it my Pilates, my exercise for the day. Oh, by the way, I don't sit down. It's amazing. It's amazing I don't have bad legs or a bad back. No furniture here. Okay. And I have stools for my students. But I like to paint and standing up, and I like the energy. I know as we get older, we can't do that whole stuff. My day is coming. Right? So while I can, I actually paint standing up. Because first of all, I can see it better. You know, it's about, what, 30 inches away. I can see the table better. If I sit down and have an easel, I'm only like 10 inches away. And then what am I going to do? I'm start painting like this. So it's the other reason why I like to put on, use long brushes. Here's a brush. Try and do details with that. So I like it. Also, again, I fatten it up back here. I like the fact that it's just kind of all wonky, isn't it? And I like to paint from about 2 to 3 feet away from the surface. I'm painting like this. I can see it. I can see it better, but I can't see it if it's up against my face. It's just one way that I like to loosen up. And so I don't use traditional sitting down on an easel and tickling the painting to death. So anyway, well, we went through color. Just to remind you, look how strong these colors are compared to the thing we just got finished doing. So I think it's valuable that you teach yourself both ways, or just be sensitive about it. So important that you paint strong directly with a lot of gusto. Alrighty, think Van Gogh. All right, a lot of gusto. Think about limiting your palette. Let's see what else you can do in this. All right, these are just quickies, right? And then we come back down and I can't wait to
Should
see. No, I'm gonna pick it up.
Okay.
Wow. See, so here is the value of looking at your painting on a monitor, or I like to take photographs of it with my iPhone, and because as soon as I see it on the iPhone, I see exactly what needs to be done. The iPhone is a very good tool to have in your
Any
studio.
phone. Yeah,
Hmm?
any phone.
Any phone,
Any
yeah,
phone,
that takes
yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
I also wanted to show you, these are pretty amazing, heavy panels. This thing will never break, never break. Cheap Joe, they're called Joe's Prime Extra Fine Art Boards. Boy, are they ever. Heavy duty, they take a beating. Heck, you can drill holes in them. You can take them out and back and shoot them. And, you want texture? Shoot them. So it's a pretty, and they're heavy too. And so this is where I started doing monochromatic. Started working now on the focal point. You see, but I stopped. Here's another one. And this is going to be a diptych. So I have to stand back. And it's heavy. Do a series like this. Pretty strong. Graphics, drawing. By the way, that's a piece of paper collage in there. I just happen to like the shape.
So I think let's open it up for questions.
Oh,
I know you've been pretty quiet. There's been a couple of questions, but we're gonna ask again. Anybody have something they'd like to ask? Okay, here's one. Do you put any finish on the painting when done?
yes.
Also, I know you mount on board with sides painted. What if they're a full sheet of paper? Do you still use a board?
Oh, first of all, yes. I don't frame my paper pieces. I particularly don't care for frames. So they get mounted on those cheap panels sometimes. And the paper is usually torn about a ½ inch smaller than the actual board, so that you can see a little bit of a frame. I do paint the boards about 1 inch in some gray color. Looking around here, I don't have any of this right here. And so they're very contemporary, and you don't see a frame, all right? But it has a nice professional presentation. Or like this one, this is a canvas where I would paint on the side, a dark, you don't see it on the side. So no frames. Kate's gonna bring me one that is a paper. To answer your question, this is on one of those 18 by 18 canvases. There's a canvas, right? And this is paper glued on it, and I use gel medium. I have this in my Bob Blast. You go to one of my Bob Blasts, it's online, and I should actually do this. It's also in my ebook where you actually see me do it. All right.
And you'll probably talk about it during the workshops.
Oh, during the workshop, of course, I'm going to show you. So the varnish is, the answer is yes. The varnish is there to really protect the acrylic paint. Okay, so I use an acrylic varnish. I don't use an oil-based varnish on top of my acrylics, because oil-based varnishes have a tendency to yellow. It's oil. So quickly, so I use an acrylic varnish. The best one happens to be the better paint companies, and it would be Golden's polymer varnish with UVLS. See, it's got all the great stuff in it to protect from the light source. It's a polymer varnish with UVLS. Great stuff. Other companies make this stuff too, but I'm just going to mention them. So since I do large canvases. I don't know why I made that funny voice. I do large canvases, and that stuff gets to be pretty expensive. Now, don't tell anybody this. So I go down to the hardware store. I get Minwax Make sure it says water-based. See, it says water-based. And it's a polyacrylic. It's the same stuff, but half the price. Oh, I'm sure people are going to argue with me. And down here's where you go look. Do you want it to be glossy? This one happens to be matte. It can be glossy, matte, semi-gloss. You choose. And when you buy it, please, please, folks, don't walk up to the cashier and shake it like this. You all do it. It's a bad habit. It says down here in point type, you'll never read it. It says, do not shake. You'll never read it. Because if you shake it up, you froth it up. And then when you put it on, it's going to look kind of milky. Go overhead. Okay.
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So inside here is the stuff that looks kind of milky. See?
Okay, I'm right there now.
All right. And if you treat it well and push it on, brush it on gently. Brush it on gently. Soft brush. You know, some nice soft brushes like this. Soft. And you go in one direction. Don't go back and forth. Don't go back and forth. You'll froth it up. But this will dry optically clear. I'm putting a lot on it. All right. So that's the world's fastest answer to that. So yeah, I do varnish all my paintings with an acrylic varnish. All of
So
them.
we have 1 minute left and I'm going to turn this over to Elizabeth.
Wow.
Oh, okay, no pressure.
No pressure. And she better be good.
All right, well,
I love your laugh.
everyone for coming. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Kate. This was wonderful as always.
Yeah.
We are
Thanks.
thrilled to have you. And
I
there
missed you
are-
guys. I miss going down there too.
I know. And it's
Hey, we're doing the best we can, everybody.
exactly.
So
Hey,
go ahead.
we are seeing each other through Zoom. And we're gonna have just as much fun as we do, even though we're not together.
Yeah.
I think so. We've been having a
I
lot
hope so.
in our other workshops, just like chatter, and then it gets really silent because they start working.
Oh, I guess that's music for my ears when everybody's quiet.
Well, the only thing is, like, how do you do music? I haven't quite figured that one out. But we have 2 workshops that Bob is going to be teaching. Not only that, but the lovely Kate Burridge will be teaching art marketing. And that'll be the week after, the 16th and the 18th. So, and that'll be also evening events.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
She's good at it too.
She is.
Sometimes I show up, but she's so good at it.
I
So
keep bringing you both back. So again and again and again.
thank you, dear. Thank you.
Always. I think that's about it.
Well-
If anyone is interested in the workshops, they can give the Art Center a call or go to our website, which is www.artsarasota.org. And remember, we love the arts and we support the arts and we thank you that you do too. And
Yay.
yay! Give everyone a big round of applause and we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Take care.
Bye.
Keep your brushes wet.
Exactly.
Exactly. I know.